Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope that everybody's having an amazing start to their day. I'm always curious. I'm always curious where people are located around the world. So if you wouldn't mind, as you guys tune into this live, let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. I have lived here my entire life, and I absolutely love it here. Um, and I have a sister, Houston, Miss Lashes, Texas, Houston. I love it. You guys got Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns. He's such a good player. I live here in Phoenix. I'm a huge Phoenix Suns fan, and they're actually doing pretty good this year. But I'm excited to to get on even for a little bit this morning. I I love talking about this. I'm going to be sharing and talking about a really important topic that is insulin resistance. It's metabolic health, metabolic syndrome. But before I really get started, I love finding out where people are. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. I will tell you this morning, it is 50 degrees this morning, and it feels absolutely amazing. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and Saturday, which is crazy, but the low is 50, and I think the high is 73 today. So it's going to be a really beautiful day. I love Arizona. I grew up here. I've lived here pretty much my whole life. But I'm excited to get on this morning. You know, if you're struggling with your health right now, this information could change your life. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, share the live with them so they can jump in, they can listen, they can ask questions. And I'm going to share some personal things, and I hope and pray that it helps you to avoid the same mistakes I've made. Lucky it's negative 31. Shauna, where are you located? Wow, that's cold. That is super cold. Wow. You know, I just like it here. I can't imagine what it's like. Negative 25 degrees. That is, oh my gosh, that's too cold. And wow. Nope. Well, I hope that you stay really, really warm. I want to. That's crazy cold. Alora, thank you. And so, well, folks, thank you for being on this morning. I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking time and hopping on this morning. So, you know, as Solomon said in the Bible, in all you're gaining, gain understanding. Lisa says it's all about the layers. Oh my gosh, that would not be shorts and t-shirt weather, right? It's shorts, short polo, short sleeve polo. But so, ladies and gentlemen, whether you've been following me or you're new to this live, I want to welcome each and every one of you. Okay. I get on here every single day because I think it's important for us for everyone to have an understanding of why our body reacts the way that it does. You know, I think it's important to understand why we have the health issues, but I think it's important to know, what can we do? Is there anything that we can do that can start to improve our health, that doesn't always require meds and diets and feeling like you have to go and do 2 days at the gym? Most people don't even know that they have it. Victor, thank you. And I mean, here's the crazy part. I struggled with insulin resistance most of my life. And the crazy thing is that this condition affects 93% of Americans. The scary part, though, the scary part is that most people don't even know that they have it, because it's rarely tested for. But it is a major driver of heart disease, the leading cause of death worldwide. And here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to make a big impact in business or in life, you've got to be able to solve a major problem. And right now, the biggest health issue in the world is insulin resistance. And if you don't know what insulin resistance is, I do encourage people to Google it, research it, because this will be a hot health topic for years to come. Okay. Now, the United States, unfortunately, is actually one of the worst countries when it comes to this, but it's even worse in parts of the Middle East, Latin America, Southeast Asia. But right now, 93% of people here in the United States are struggling with their health. And it's only getting worse. Now, right, 3 out of 4 Americans are overweight or obese. 50% of people are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And it's like, why are we having these issues? You know, and most importantly, what are some things that we can do that can help to start improve our health? And so that's what I'm here for. And I hope that what I share gives you some hope. Okay. I really hope that as I share some things, it gives you some peace of mind and knowing that, you know, there is a way out. Okay. How many of you know that you have insulin resistance? If you do, would you mind typing the letter or the number 1 in the chat? If you know that you have insulin resistance, type the number 1 in the chat, right? It is something that is unfortunately often glossed over, right? Skin issues, blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, right? Autoimmune issues. I mean, it almost seems as if everyone that I come in contact with is struggling with these health issues. So what can we do? And so why are we all struggling with this? I want you guys to think about your own health as I talk, right? Are you dealing with constant fatigue all the time? Are you carrying extra weight that you can't lose no matter what? Do you have migraines or headaches all the time? I had them for 23 years. What about cravings? How many of you crave salty or sweet foods, right? Miss Lashes, right? Food. Okay. How many of you have or have been struggling with high blood pressure, cholesterol issues? What about fertility problems? Or maybe things like psoriasis or eczema, kidney stones. I'm going to dive into all of this. And I would love to hear from each and every one of you in the chat. Share what you're dealing with and let me know if any of these sound familiar to you. Now, the big issue here is that most doctors are not talking about insulin resistance, which happens to be the root cause behind a lot of the issues that you and I have. No one talks about it. Bola M, right? MS. This is why I am so passionate about sharing this with you. Because you could have these symptoms from insulin resistance and never even know. The good news is that you don't need meds or extreme diets to fix it. So I'm going to share two simple things that can help you to improve your insulin sensitivity. And I'm going to talk about a tool, a natural tool that is helping people simplify this literally all over the world. So whether you're dealing with type 2 diabetes or weight issues or anything else, okay, this tool is literally changing people's lives. And I'm going to explain how it's helped people like me. Some of you know my story and some of you don't know my story, but November of 2014, I'll share this. This was me when I was in the hospital back in November. I was donating a kidney well, that's my sister. Okay. This is my sister, and her husband is right here. Her husband, I donated one of my kidneys to. Miss Lashes, thank you for that. Fadon, good morning. And so this was November 2014. This is my mom. My mom is 85 years old. Thank you. So my mom is 85 years old. She lives in a memory care facility in Tennessee. And she's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about sharing this, right? Look at my friend Sarbit. She had lupus, she had rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do what it is that I do. Fadon, good morning. I appreciate you being on. And so insulin resistance, right, is something that a lot of us will experience at some point. Now, has anyone that's watching this live ever been asked by your doctor or nutritionist to move more and eat less, right? If you've ever been given that advice or told to do that, would you guys please type in the chat if you've been told that? Put a yes or a no, okay? I'm going to teach you exactly what is causing your high blood pressure, and it's not salt, it's sugar, and it is related to insulin resistance. And see, most of us have been told to move more and eat less, right? They call this the calories in, the calories out approach. But I want to break this down for you. If I'm eating 1,500 calories a day and I'm going to the gym and I'm getting a really good workout in and I'm burning 2,000 calories a day, that would be a 500 calorie deficit, right? That would equal, and let's just say that I do this for a week. That's 3,500 calories, right? That's equivalent to 1 pound of weight loss. Well, if I weighed 200 pounds, I don't, but if I did, and if I did this for the next 200 weeks, would I end up weighing 0 pounds? It's crazy when you think of it that way, right? And the reality is, of course not, because your body is a lot smarter than simple math. There was a study, ladies and gentlemen, that was done over 100 years ago at the Carnegie Institute of Washington back in 1919. When people reduce their calories. Now, why would people reduce their calories? Maybe they're trying to lose some weight, right? I reduce calories because I'm trying to lose body fat, right? Does that sound familiar to anyone? That's why we do it. And so they found in this medical research, okay, they found in this medical research that when you reduce calories, you actually reduce your metabolism equal to the amount of calories that you are reducing. And here's the crazy part, people were hungry. You guys remember the Snickers commercials where people turn into monsters because they're so hungry? It was the same vibe. But it wasn't just muscle that these people were losing. They were losing, okay? It wasn't just muscle. They were losing, it's called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is where your body is literally starting to lose muscle. You're becoming weaker. Your cardiac stroke output reduces by 20%, meaning that your heart is weaker as well. Now, I want you to picture this, okay? I want you to imagine that you are wearing noise canceling headphones, okay? And your partner keeps asking you the same question, but you can't hear them. Or imagine talking to somebody who's hard of hearing. And so you instinctively start talking louder. This is what happens with your cells, right? When you have insulin resistance, your body has to produce more insulin just to store the same amount of glucose. And this is what puts people at a higher risk for serious health issues, right? It's also like a fire that is burning out of control in your body. Samir, thank you for the follow, right? It's like a fire that is burning out of control in your body. And if we don't put the fire out, guess what happens, right? All of these symptoms continue to come back. Solomon said in the Bible, in all you're gaining, gain understanding. You're going to understand when you are on my live. That's what I want for you. My hope and my prayer is that you avoid making the same mistakes that I've made. Now, November 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. It was 7 years after, it was 2021. Folks, I don't have stage 4 kidney disease. My migraines that I had for 23 years are gone. My acid reflux, my brain fog, the anxiety, the depression, sleep apnea, right? These are things that I think each and every one of us might experience at some point. Skin issues, the skin tags on your neck or your abdomen, right? The dark patches of skin that won't wash off. What about weight, right? You've got stubborn weight that just won't come off no matter what it is that you do. What about fatigue and cravings, right? Do you feel tired after eating, or are you constantly always thinking about your next meal? What about brain fog? Charlie, right? How many of you walk into a room and you completely forget why you walked in there? She's a troublemaker right there. Like, do you walk into a room and you forget your purpose in that room? How many of you are dealing with high blood pressure and high cholesterol? Miss Lashes, right? I want you to know that these are both linked to insulin resistance, but guess what? Your cardiologist is probably not going to tell you how to fix the root cause. They're more likely to put you on meds. 26% of American women have PCOS. Men in their 20s, not just in their 60s, have erectile dysfunction, low testosterone. 24% of women in the United States are on antidepressants. Did you know that gut health and mental health are all connected to each other? How many of you are dealing with hypoglycemia? Right? You've got low blood sugar, right? You're needing to eat constantly. Or you're suffering from headaches and heart disease, right? These are all, every single thing that I just mentioned is all caused by one thing. Now, here's the part that no one wants to tell you. If I walk into a doctor's office with IBS, cholesterol issues, migraines, and let's just say to make sure and to be an advocate, I go to 3 different doctors, right? You guys realize that you're going to pay a copay to every single one of those doctors, and you're going to walk out with at least 3 different medications. And not one of those will even touch the root cause. All they're doing is managing the numbers, the symptoms. But the moment you come off those meds, folks, what do you think happens? They all come back. Folks, I am living proof that you can improve your health naturally. Our bodies are amazing. God knew what he was doing when he created us, right? Our bodies have the ability to heal itself if we give our body the ability to do so. But see, most doctors, see, most doctors are not trained to recognize or treat insulin resistance with nutrition and lifestyle. So what happens? We get sicker. We get more meds, right? They up the dosage, right? They always tell you what they're doing to you. They add a new they add a new pill for the side effects, and the next thing you know, you're on 6, you're on 8, you're on a dozen medications, and not one of those even touches the real root cause. And by the way, the system that I recommend has been around for over 30 years. It's been studied at some of the top institutions in the world. You don't have to change your entire life to get results. And not only that, it's safe, it's effective, it's easy to utilize and to follow. And the best part about it is it comes with a 90-day happiness guarantee. So if people try this and it doesn't work for you, you lose nothing. You get all of your money back. And it's less than a coffee a day. Now, why am I sharing this? Because I would imagine that the majority of us who have ever dealt with health issues and who have dealt with medical doctors and nurses and things like that, when we go to a doctor, they diagnose and they treat the symptoms. And folks, they don't test. I want you guys to remember this. Doctors will not test what they cannot medicate. If there's a medication that they can give you, they will test you all day. But if there's not a medication, there's 2 tests that doctors refuse to do on humans. And the reason is because there's no prescription for insulin resistance. But there's 2 tests that they don't test for: chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. Fasting insulin, right? When was the last time that your doctor checked your fasting insulin levels, right? Your doctor will check your glucose. They do that all the time. But the one test, your fasting insulin, is what controls your fasting glucose. But they will check your fasting glucose all day long, right? But they don't test on 2 key things in humans: chronic inflammation and fasting insulin, because there's no prescription for it. Folks, what I love is that if you use this consistently every day, it doesn't fail. It won't fail you. Let's fix the root cause, insulin resistance, and maybe you won't need the meds at all anyways, right? Remember, I want you to think of insulin resistance like a fire that's burning out of control. Just like how the smoke signals to us that there is a fire, these symptoms that we all have, right? The skin issues, the migraines, the headaches, the neuropathy, the sleep apnea, the frequent urination, craving food all the time. These are all, that's the smoke to your fire. And when we focus on putting the fire out, the root cause, guess what? The smoke will go away. These symptoms that you have will go away. But if all we do is throw medications at our symptoms, folks, it's not going to fix the root cause. How many of you grew up believing, like me, that breakfast was the most important meal of the day? How many of you were told that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, right? What do we start our day with? Right? I actually did a few videos of this because I think it's important for people to understand, like, there's a doctor, Dr. Robert Lustig. Actually, there's 2 books that I recommend. Okay. One is Why We Get Sick by Dr. Benjamin Bickman. And the other book is, and by the way, he calls this a silent epidemic, right? Because you don't know that you have it because it's rarely tested for. Okay. User 153, thank you for that. This other book is Metabolical. Okay, it was written by Dr. Robert Lustig. This doctor is a nutrition genius. But he said that the number one fast food restaurant in the world isn't what you think it might be. If I asked you that question, a lot of you would probably put in the chat McDonald's, right? But he said that the number one fast food restaurant is our public schools food system. It's hospital menus, it's diabetic meal plans, right? That is full of ultra processed foods. But think about what our kids, your kids, start their day every day for breakfast at school. What are they having? A bowl of cereal and a glass of orange juice, right? And that amount of sugar, folks, is more sugar than what an adult should have in an entire day. Here's the book again, Why We Get Sick. Okay. This is a phenomenal book. Okay. And then the second book, okay, is Metabolical by Dr. Robert Lustig. Okay. Balance with Kathy. Good morning. And I hope my ice maker machine doesn't start to yell at me. So, we start our day with a bowl of cereal, orange juice, right? Apple juice. And we wonder why we're tired all day long. Folks, if we start our day with those types of foods, there's a reason why 30 minutes or an hour later, you're hungrier than you were before. You're tired, right? Have you guys ever noticed that when you eat certain meals, certain foods, that you're tired 20 or 30 minutes later? Or you're thinking about eating again? Did you guys know that 90% of all chronic diseases are all related to one thing, insulin resistance? These are not my words. These are Dr. Ben Bickman's words. He's the world's leading insulin resistance doctor. And it's crazy to think this. Okay. So here's another thing. If you are diabetic, you are 80% more likely to have a cardiovascular event, stroke, or heart attack. Dr. Robert Lustig, he said that, they are now finding in our children under the age of 3 years old that have what is called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Under 3 years of age, folks. That's crazy. I had a friend last year who was 43 years old who died of a heart attack. And you might be thinking, like, how does this happen? How does insulin resistance have anything to do with this? And here's the reality. When you eat, right? Every time we eat, we spike and blow up our blood sugar. And our body releases insulin, which is the gatekeeper to our cells. Insulin is what helps unlock our cells, but insulin is not your friend. Insulin is not your friend. Right? Insulin is not your friend at all. And so insulin resistance has everything to do with this. It's crazy. And so, the fire that I've been talking about represents the root cause, which is something that goes unaddressed with most doctors. And by the way, if you happen to have a doctor that is talking to you about insulin resistance, hold on to them, okay? Because the sad reality is that most medical professionals are not talking about the one thing that's causing most of our health issues. So here's the two things, right? Let's break down the fire, right? Insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is basically your body shouting, hey, I am trying to do my job, but no one is listening, right? And so your body's just pumping out more and more and more insulin. And at the end of the day, your body has literally way too much insulin in the system. It's called hyperinsulinemia. Your cells have stopped responding to insulin in the way they should. And so now we've got full-blown diabetes, right? You've blown out your pancreas. How many of you, if you don't mind sharing, you don't have to tell me how many, but if you're on a medication, would you mind typing MED in the chat? It helps me to know how many people that are on this live right now that are unfortunately taking a med. So if you're on anything, put a MED in the chat. I used to, okay? Miss Lashes, lots of exclamation points. Okay, Louisa, and thank you folks for participating. I appreciate that. It helps me to know that I'm sharing something that hopefully is making a difference. Did you know that too much sugar in the brain of a child is called ADHD? Too much sugar in the brain of an adult is called Alzheimer's and dementia. Too much sugar in your joints is called arthritis, right? Too much sugar in female organs is called PCOS. Too much in the men, erectile dysfunction. Too much sugar in your blood vessels is called atherosclerosis, which they're now finding in kids literally under the age of 10. By the way, they are eating what is called the standard American diet, right? How many of us are literally, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, I'm going to put this up here, how many of us are eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we're snacking throughout the day? Right, this eating pattern right here is the reason why 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. This is why 3 out of 4 adults are overweight or obese. 2 out of 4 kids are overweight or obese. 77% of our young adults are actually unfit to serve in the military because of these health issues. What about anxiety, depression? What about mental? Right, your gut and your brain, right? They're all connected. And Miss Lashes, fasting is one of the most powerful things that people could do. The 2 things that I teach is fasting and fiber. Remember, insulin resistance has 2 parts. You've got too much insulin floating in your body, and now your cells have become resistant to insulin's knock at the door. Folks, this is exactly why I teach and talk about the Feel Great system, because it works. When I wake up in the morning, I sip on this chlorogenic tea. It literally shuts the food noise off. I don't think about food. I literally just shut it off. It shuts the food noise off. It's amazing. And so, folks, every time you take a bite of food, especially anything with carbs or sugars, your blood sugar goes up. And your pancreas sees that spike and it says, okay, it's time to release insulin. Insulin is like the Uber driver. It'll go and pick up the glucose out of your bloodstream and it will deliver it to your cells where your body will use it for energy. But sometimes all of us have a lot of excess glucose that is sitting in our bloodstream, and our body is pumping out more and more insulin just to move it. Hello, love handles. Hello, belly fat. Hello, diabetes, arthritis, neuropathy, right? And it gets dumped into places where it shouldn't, right? Your joints, your liver. Now we've got liver disease. You've got arthritis. We've got foggy brain, ADHD in kids. It goes into your arteries. Now we've got high blood pressure and cholesterol. Folks, if we want to reverse insulin resistance, we've got to control these insulin spikes. We have to help our cells become sensitive again. So how do we do that? We want our cells to be able to get sensitive again and open up their door and say, hey, sure, come on in, right? So how do we do that? You know, you've heard of little hacks like apple cider vinegar, which is great, right? Going for simple walks after eating a meal, right? A 15-minute walk can really help to lower your glucose. It's powerful. But here's the real issue, folks. Too often, we are throwing medications at symptoms. It's like having a leak in your ceiling and putting a bucket under it, but never fixing the roof. That's what we're doing with our health. We rely on meds after meds after meds without ever fixing the root cause. We need to heal our bodies and really take control of our health so that your weight, your blood pressure, autoimmune conditions, cardiovascular health start to improve. So if you really want to move the needle, folks, like for real, and I've only got a few more minutes because I've got a health and wellness clinic I'm going to today. But if you really want to move the needle, like for real, here are the big two. One, intermittent fasting. Going longer periods of time without putting food into your mouth means that your body is avoiding glucose spikes. And when you avoid glucose spikes, folks, you're avoiding, insulin spikes. You're avoiding your body from having to pump out any insulin. This is a good thing. So fasting is great. And I can spend an hour just talking about that. But, if you're new to fasting, start with 12 to 13 hours and work your way up to 16 to 18 hours. And if you can, do a 24-hour fast. When you fast for 24 hours, you reset your gut. This is why I use this chlorogenic tea, because when I sip on it, it makes me forget about food. It tastes amazing. It's all natural. And by the way, for those of you that are on metformin or Ozempic, guess what? It actually mimics those meds, but there's no side effects to this. There's no contraindication. And Miss Lashes, this is actually the second part, right? Number one is fasting. Number two is fiber. This right here is a blend of plant-based fibers that was actually created by Rexall drugs back in the late 80s, early 90s. Your body, Miss Lashes, actually needs diversified types of fibers. Psyllium husk is not a bad fiber, but really its purpose is to help you go poop. That's it. Our body actually needs diversified fiber. And this fiber was created by Rexall. By the way, there's 5 patents on this system that I use. Nobody can copy it. You can't just go to your grocery store and get it. It's been around for over 30 years. And hardly anybody knows about it. And by the way, this right here is actually listed in the physician's desk reference. And if you don't know what that is where doctors prescribe meds. We're the only company in the world that has these 2 tools that are listed in the same place that doctors will write prescriptions. This system actually helps to detox your liver. It helps you to fix insulin resistance. It feeds your microbiome, which is where 80% of your immune system is. And when you feed your microbiome, right, the right nutrients, what you need to feed it, the funny thing is you've got healthy bacteria that starts to grow. It starts to protect you, right? This acts as a prebiotic, right? It helps to slow the sugar absorption from the foods that you've just eaten. It helps to slow down your digestion so that your body can actually get the nutrients that you need. Folks, your body is designed to heal itself as long as you and I are not poisoning ourselves. And Alora, thank you for being on, right? As long as we're not poisoning ourselves. The problem is most people don't realize that we are poisoning ourselves every day by what we put in our mouth. Folks, in 2021, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. Right? And Miss Lashes, this, and I'm happy, let's jump on a phone call. I'd be happy to do that. Folks, these are things that your doctor should be sharing with you, but they don't talk to you about this because why? Why would we teach you to get off of your meds, right? They make money as long as you are on a prescription. Folks, let me ask you this question. If we have a fish tank, okay, and the fish tank is disgusting, right? The water is murky, it's nasty water, the fish are swimming upside down. Do we throw more drugs in it, or do we clean up the environment? We clean up the water. Right? I hope that this is making sense. Right? Fasting, folks, is one of the most powerful things that you can do that can start to get your insulin under control. As long as you are in control of your insulin, you are in control of your health. I used to struggle with fasting. This is why I love this tea, because it literally just shuts the food noise off. I don't think about food. This is by hands down the easiest, most profound way to improve insulin sensitivity, to improve or reverse insulin resistance, your prediabetes, diabetes type 2. Folks, 2021, I'm told I have stage 4 kidney disease. I'm prescribed a medication that did not work. Most of you are probably on the same medication I was. And within 2.5 years later, I learned about this system. It came with a 90-day money-back guarantee. So I knew that if I just tried it, if it didn't work, I knew that I could get my money back. It is $5 a day. Folks, I had a lunch appointment yesterday. My lunch cost me over $16, $16 and change for half of a salad and half of a sandwich. Right? I mean, folks, you can't even go to In-N-Out or any restaurant and get a meal for less than $10. Maybe $5, but it's not the best meal. Folks, what I'm using daily and have been since January of 2024 is literally, this is what it looks like every day. I start my day with this. And then after lunch, I have my second one. And before my biggest meal of the day, I have this blend of fiber before my biggest meal, and that is it. That's exactly what it is that I do and have been doing that has completely made the biggest difference. And if you are skeptical, which we should be, you should be skeptical. There's a lot of things out there that don't work, that claim that they are come with these amazing benefits. Folks, we can actually prove through your own blood work. So whether you are going to a doctor to get that done or you're doing it yourself, you're going to notice a difference day one being on the system. Your energy levels will go up. The brain fog disappear. You're going to sleep better at night. I have seen more people in the last 2 years reverse type 2 diabetes. I've seen even, you can't reverse type 1. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease, but I have a colleague of mine who had stage 1 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and he was able to reduce his insulin by 64%. That's huge. You don't need a lot of insulin, folks. And you certainly don't, if you're a type 2 and you're on insulin, find a different doctor. And so the first thing you'll do when you wake up in the morning is you'll drink this yerba mate tea. It's loaded with two incredible compounds, chlorogenic acid and theobromine. Right? Theobromine is a natural mood booster, right? It helps to lower your blood pressure. It helps to reduce stress. How many of you have a lot of stress in your life? How many of you would like to reduce that and get rid of it? Right? How many of you have kidney stones, right? It's been proven to help prevent this. Chlorogenic acid is a game changer because it naturally helps to regulate your blood sugar. It reduces blood pressure. Fog. It improves your focus. It acts as a powerful anti-inflammatory that helps to protect your cells. You can find these compounds in coffee and chocolate too, but yerba mate actually has the highest concentration. Folks, I love what it is that I use. I share this with everyone. If this resonates with you, if this sounds like what you've been looking for, you don't have to wait to fix your health. I wish that I knew about this 20 years ago. My dad passed away on Easter Sunday, 2017. My brother was 33 years old in January of 2005 when he passed away, 21 years ago. Folks, I hope that there's something that I shared with you this morning that is giving you hope. If you're struggling with these issues, if you're on a bunch of meds, you don't have to live the rest of your life being on it, right? If your doctor has ever told you, and I just got restricted, okay. If this resonates with you, if this sounds like what you've been looking for, praying for, you don't have to wait, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, I've got to hop off. I've got a health and wellness clinic that I've got to prepare for. But if you would like me to send you information, or if you want to jump on a phone call, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to send this to you. Biggs, thank you for the follow. And thank you to everyone who has been tapping the screen and sending those hearts and sharing this. Thank you for that. Okay. Feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to send you the link to what I use. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Folks, if it doesn't work, you literally get all of your money back. You lose absolutely nothing. And you don't have to overhaul your entire life to get the results. If there's anything that I can do to help you, just know that there's hope. I really appreciate each and every one of you for hopping on. I hope that there's something that I share that's helped you to understand what insulin resistance is, why we have it, but most importantly, what you can do to improve it or to fix it, right? You're never going to fix your health with medications. Medications are not the answer. Medications cause a lot of side effects. There's a lot of health issues, okay? Thank you so much, folks, for hopping on this morning. I really hope that you guys have an amazing day. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, if you guys want to jump on a phone call, I've just given you my number. You can text me or call, okay? But I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you guys have a blessed day. If you want to take a screenshot of this, okay? And by the way, right, my link is in my bio, okay? If you are open to trying it, folks, there's no risk. You can try it risk-free for the next 30 to 90 days. It comes with a 90-day guarantee. So if you don't like it, just get your money back. But what if this could be the game changer that you were looking for? Okay. Folks, I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being on here. If there's anything that I can do, please let me know. Okay. God bless you.